Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this doctoral graduation ceremony of Stellenbosch University. Molweni, wamkele kile. Goeiemiddag, dames en heren. Hartelijk welkom aan elkeen van u by hierdie doktorale graadeplegtigheid van die Universiteit Stellenbosch. Vanweer die nasionale COVID-19 regulasies en die universiteit se gesondheids- en veiligheidsprotokolle sal hierdie geleentheid iets wat anders daaruit sien as gewoonlik. Due to COVID-19 regulations and our own protocols, this event by necessity has to be somewhat different from our regular ceremonies. Therefore, please take note of the following. All graduates and guests have been assigned unique seat numbers. Please do not change seats, as the seating record will be used in case any potential contact tracing becomes necessary. Only the essential staff members required to constitute a congregation will be present at this event. Thank you for understanding that we are to limit the number of guests you could invite. Rest assured that this hall is thoroughly cleaned and disinfected before and after the ceremony. The wearing of a mask is mandatory for both graduates and guests for the full duration of the ceremony, including when graduates cross the floor. Please maintain a safe distance of at least 1.5 meters from all others at all times. No food may be brought into or consumed in this hall. Only water is permitted inside the venue. Now to the ceremony itself. We will not be singing the national anthem as is our custom, but instead listen to an instrumental version of it directly after the procession has entered the hall. When we get to the awarding of degrees, graduates will be called up to cross the stage, but in order to comply with COVID-19 regulations, there will be no handshaking by the presiding officer or hooding by the registrar. Instead, please walk up to the presiding officer, exchange nods, and then turn around for photographs and acknowledgement by the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, you are also welcome to take photographs, but please switch off sound and flash first. Also, please keep your cell phone on silent for the duration of the ceremony. At the conclusion of the ceremony, once the procession has left the hall, we respectfully request you that you exit the hall and the building swiftly so that cleaning and sanitizing with a view to the next ceremony may commence as soon as possible. Kindly ensure that you take along any waste items such as waters, tissues, etc. when you exit this venue and dispose of these safely in the bins outside. Please do not congregate in the foyer for your own photos and selfies. The official photographers have set up a designated area across the foyer. Graduates and their family and friends are welcome to use this service. Or you can exit the building and capture the moment outside with Victoria Street as your backdrop. You will also find the recently launched pop-up Mati shop in front of the building where you can purchase SU-branded items to remind you of a successful academic journey. Baie dankie vir die geduld met die talle aanwysings, dames en here. Dit is egter in almal se belang. Ladies and gentlemen, in this time of COVID-19, we have hybrid graduation ceremonies. This one is one of 9 small physical ceremonies for our doctoral graduates. All other degrees are being confirmed during virtual faculty-based ceremonies that have been pre-recorded and scheduled for release. Please check the university's homepage for information when these go live. Another good news, the graduation can be followed via live stream from anywhere in the world. In case you are not aware of this, you are welcome to share the following URL with your family and friends and they can follow the event. It's www.sun.ac.za/streaming. If a power outage should occur, please remain seated while we switch on the emergency power. You are also welcome to share your graduation experiences on social media using #SUGrad. Just remember to put your phone on silent. Dames en here, ons is bykans gereed om met die plegtigheid te begin. Ons vra dat u sal opstaan vir die akademiese prosesie en sal bly staan tot nadat ons die nasionale lied geluister het. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession and remain standing until we have listened to the national anthem. Thank you, baie dankie, en Nkosi kakhulu.
Goedemiddag, dames en heren. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this event. It's lovely to see all of you here. Because of COVID, we're not going to sing the national anthem, but we'll listen to an instrumental version. So aan die begin van hierdie verrigtinge gaan ons na instrumentale weergawe van die Suid-Afrikaanse nasionale lied luister. Baie dankie. Please take your seats. Sit asseblief. So hiermee verklaar ek hierdie kongregasie van die Universiteit Stellenbosch behoorlik gekonstitueer. I hereby declare this congregation of Stellenbosch University duly constituted. So hier is ons in jaar 2 van die pandemie. We're in the second year of the pandemic. It's hard to believe that one should say this. Maar aan die begin van hierdie grade plegtigheid is ons as akademiese gemeenskap, ouers, gades, familie en vriende diep dankbaar vir die voorreg om hier te kan wees, om saam met ons gradiandi, om saam hulle sukses te kan vier, maar ons dink ook aan die lede van ons breë universiteitsgemeenskap wat in hierdie uitdagende tye oorlede is of persone aan die dood afgestaan het. En ek gaan nie daarom uitnooi om net so te bly sit terwyl ons vir 'n gewyde oomblik stil word, elkeen in ons eie ruimte van verskillende godsdienstige en sekulêre lewensbeskouings. So at the beginning of this graduation ceremony, we as an academic community, parents, partners, family and friends, we're deeply grateful for the privilege to be here to celebrate all of you. all of yours in Southern American twang, or all of you all success. But we also think of members of our broad university community who have passed away, who have lost loved ones this year during these most challenging times. And to this end, I invite you all to remain seated while we observe a devotional moment, granting each other the space to do so according to our various religious and secular perspectives. Baie dankie, thank you. So as I said, year 2 of the pandemic. Maar middag dames en here, dit is wonderlik om julle hier te hê. Hierdie is 'n klein en intieme geleentheid. It's a small and intimate occasion, so it is joyous. So I want us really to celebrate this. It's the 5th of 9 physical graduation ceremonies that we've scheduled for this week, die 5de van 9 grade plegtighede, fisiese grade plegtighede hierdie week. Ons het ook online gaste. We have some online guests who are joining the proceedings via live streaming, and we trust that you will enjoy it. It's going to be relatively short because of time constraints and COVID, but certainly it doesn't detract from what you've achieved and how we want to recognize you for this. So, in line with our policy of inclusive multilingualism, we will now listen to Professor Mawandi Dlali from our Department of African Languages, who has recorded words of welcome in isiXhosa.
Molweni manene na manenekazi, siyanamkela kumsitho wothusuzidanga kule veki. Siyathemba ukuba olu suku luza kuba neenkumbulo ezintle kwabo baza kube bethweswa izidanga kwiintsapho zabo kunye nezihlobo ngokubanzi. Manene na manenekazi, sizama ngako konke isinako ukubiza amagama abantu ngendlela efanelekileyo. Ndiqinisekile uDean nesekela lakhe bebezama ngako konke okusemandleni ukuziqhelanisa noku, kodwa okuyinyani sinabo baza kube bethweswa izidanga, abasebenzi kunye neendwendwe ezivela kwindawo ngendawo ezahlukeneyo, ezineelwimi ezahlukeneyo, nezo zivela ngaphaya kwemida yaseMzantsi Afrika. Yiyo loo nto sicela ukuba nibe nenyameko kuba singakufumanisa kungumcelimngeni ukubiza amanye amagama kunye neefani. Enkosi.
Thank you, Professor Dlali. Dankie, enkosi. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get on with the main business of this ceremony and officially hand out the qualifications, allow me to make a few remarks. Laat ek net 'n paar woorde sê. So, daar's geen kwessie dat die COVID-19 pandemie 'n massiewe impak op die hele wêreld gehad het nie. This pandemic has really had a massive impact on the whole world. And it says a lot that frontline healthcare workers were actually considered and nominated as finalists for Time magazine's Person of the Year for 2020. And stories about brave and unselfish doctors and nurses have been dominating the media for more than a year now. So as you know, I'm slightly biased in this regard because this is my home faculty, the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. So I'm immensely proud of what you all have achieved this past year. Ek is verskriklik trots op wat julle almal gedoen het, wat julle bereik het te midde van baie moeilike tye. Because I think what has been under-recognized would be the mental and physical strain on healthcare workers the world over. It's been immense. It's been overwhelming. At the university, we interact regularly with the Medical Advisory Committee, that gives us information on how to best proceed at the university on our institutional committee for business continuity. And it is incredible the work that these people at Tygerberg on our campuses have been doing. So Most of society went into lockdown. There was an adjustment period, however brief, when this started, but not doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers. No, none of that. They've been working nonstop. And really for that, we salute them, we salute you. I often use the analogy, at the beginning we thought this was a sprint, and then we realized it's a marathon, and now clearly it's an ultra-marathon. In die begin het mense gedink, het gaan net 'n vinnige naloop wees, en dan miskien so 'n halfmarathon, marathon, maar nou is dit 'n goeie comrades, en selfs meer as dit. So, but I really salute you all. I take my hat off to you for persevering in these very difficult times. And what do we actually see? What do we see in the figures? Wat sien ons in die syfers? The Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences have actually increased its output of undergraduate qualifications during the 2020 academic year. So, Dean, Jimmy, baie geluk. Well done. And with this week's ceremonies, we conclude academic year 2020. The university, in the midst of all this, managed to award 9,079 degree certificates and diplomas. Quite an achievement, 9,079. And it's about the same as the previous year, and it speaks volumes about the agility and the adaptability of this university and its staff and students. Ons is aanpasbaar, ons het vinnig gereageer, ons het aanlyn gegaan. Dit was nie altyd perfek nie, maar ons het aanlyn gegaan en goeie resultate afgelewer. And then when it comes to you all, the pinnacle of academic success, congratulations to all of you. The university's tally across all faculties for last year is actually 270. It's one of the highest figures of all universities in South Africa. And that is why we're so proud of this institution's contribution to the development of our country and the continent and the rest of the world. So in total, the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences awarded 40 PhDs in the 2020 academic year, including today's 13. Well done to the faculty and well done to all of you. And let's round of applause to us all. So what you've managed to achieve and how you're going to apply it, I have no doubt that this has been a grueling experience, but ultimately very rewarding. You're going to reap the benefits of this today, and that you will use the knowledge and the skills and the networks that you've gained to really make a significant contribution as you go forward. And this is especially in the time that we're in at the moment, where we need and we've shown the benefit of being informed and led by science. Wetenskap, die feite moet vir ons nie fiksie nie, not false news, not fake news. Dis die wetenskap wat vir ons moet vorentoe neem. It must be science that guides us as we go forward in an age of anti-intellectualism. We've got to stand firm as an institution. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, last week, at Senate, I mentioned that I'm reading Barack Obama's wonderful book, A Promised Land, the first volume of his autobiography. Wonderful book. It is 700 pages long. So there's nogal 'n manier. But this has now been, because this is something you go in and out of, read a chapter here and there. But this has been joined by another book that I really want to tout. And it's Walter Isaacson's new biography on Jennifer Doudna, The Codebreaker. The Codebreaker. She received the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine for CRISPR technology and gene editing. 2 women received the Nobel Prize last year. Isn't this in wonderful contrast to only Watson and Crick receiving the Nobel Prize for DNA? 2 women received the Nobel Prize for CRISPR technology and gene technology. And what a wonderful book. I can highly recommend it. So, no great expectations. 2 or 3 Nobel Prizes, that's all. All right? So it'll be great. But I really want to commend you for the enormous contributions that you've done. And I want to wish you the best for the future. Ek sal nou aan die kandidaate wat my voorgestel word die onderskeie doktorsgrade verleen. I will now confer on the candidates who have presented to me their respective doctoral degrees, but not quite. So I'm going to ask, with some very important players and contributors to where you're all sitting today, and that's your supervisors. So I'm going to ask them to just stand. Because normally we'd have them come up and read the accommodations, but we're going to ask them and we're going to give them a hand of applause. Baie dankie. Thank you. So, who of you in what you've in your achievement today, who of you had in this process had shed a tear while you were doing it? Who of you at some point in your interaction with your supervisor actually wanted to do them some physical harm? So this is the type of relationship that a supervisor has with his or her candidate. It's a journey. It's a mentor-mentee journey. We list a whole host of responsibilities in our yearbook for supervisors, but the most important is to act as guides, to the candidates throughout. And I really want to pay tribute to the supervisors and want to acknowledge them. So now over to the candidates. So the dean is going to read your title of your thesis, and he's going to call you up, and then you're going to come across here. I'm not going to shake hands. We're not going to cap you formally. We're going to nod to each other. But then I want you to seize the moment. Carpe diem. This is your time. This is your triumph. Dis julle groot oomblik hierdie. So julle gaan dan omdraai en dan gaan julle na die gehoor toe wys. You're going to share this with a moment. I've been challenging some of the faculties to come up with a little, shimmy. A little dab maybe. But do a little dance, ululate. Enjoy it. This is your moment. I've been challenging some of the other faculties to do this. This is the fifth one. The leaders at this point, hard to believe, I couldn't believe it, was actually economics and management sciences. I think they've put on a pretty good show. And agriculture, not too bad either. So, Dean, thank you very much, Jimmy.
Meneer die Vice-Chancellor, ek versoek hier om die graad dokter in die wysbegeerte in die fakulteit Geneeskunde en Gesondheidswetenskappe aan die kandidate wat ek aan u voorstel te verleen. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I request you to confer on the candidates whom I'll present to you the degree Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. Glenn Mba Afunchi, with dissertation Improving Early Diagnosis and Referrals to Life-Saving Care for Children with Cancer in Cameroon, with supervision by Professor Mariana Krier.
Congratulations.
Lucinda Barches, with dissertation Investigation of the Expression and Immunogenicity of Mycobacterium tuberculosis RV 1460, with Supervisor Dr. MJ Williams. Sana Charania, with dissertation, The Relationship Between Carotid Intermedia Thickness, Serum Biomarkers of Cardiovascular Disease, and HIV infection in a South African study population, with Supervisor Professor Hans Stradom. Gugu Laba Tembuna, Mashlubi, Tenjiwa, We, Jabulile Kali, with dissertation, A Comparative Study of Neuroprotective Strategies in Neonatal Hypoxic Ischemic Encephalopathy, with Supervisor Professor J. Smith. Hilmar Klaus Lukov, with dissertation, Metabolic Syndrome Risk Factor Associations with Clinical, Functional, and Cognitive Outcomes during the first year of treatment in schizophrenia spectrum disorders, with Supervisor Professor Robin Emsley. Rhoda Mayer, with dissertation, Hostis Humani Generi, the Private Healthcare Context as an Environment for Learning, a case study, with Supervisor Professor Susan van Skalkwijk.
Congratulations.
Loveness Anila Nkata, with dissertation, The Effect of a Back Pain Campaign on Back Beliefs, Coping Strategies, and Participant Activation for Nurses in Lusaka, Zambia, with Supervisor Professor Lowe.
Congratulations.
Yanni Notling, with dissertation, Epigenomic Analysis of Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder in Female Rape Survivors in South Africa, with Supervisor Professor S. Sidat. Ulfa Patel, with dissertation, Interaction of Aspartolus leonaris, also known as rooibos, with glucose and lipid-lowering medications, with Supervisor Professor C. J. F. Miller. Lauren Saad, with dissertation, The Anatomy of Seismic Signaling, Morphological Adaptations to the Hind Limb of Drumming and Non-Drumming African Mole Rats, with supervision, Professor M.J. Duvall. Bongikile Trisha Skasana, with dissertation, an investigation of obesity as an etiology of male infertility in a rat model. Supervisor, Professor S. Duplessis.
Well done.
Jacques Johan van Heerden, with dissertation, The Management and Outcomes of Neuroblastoma in South Africa, with supervisor, Professor M. Creer.
Eigenlijk.
Meneer de Vice-Chancellor, ek versoek u om aan die kandidaate wie se name ook aan u voorgelê is, maar wat nie hier teenwoordig is nie, die onderskeie grade in hul afwesigheid te verleen. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I request you to confer the degrees on those candidates whose names have been presented to you, but who could not attend in their absence.
Ek verleen die onderskeie grade aan die kandidaate in hulle afwesigheid. I confer the respective degrees on the candidates in their absence. So, short and sweet. Dames en heren, ons het nou die toekenning van die grade afgehandel en namens die Universiteit Stellenbosch wil ek almal van u hartlik gelukwens met die bereiking van hierdie besondere mylpaal. Heartiest congratulations to all our new graduates. You are now officially and automatically an alumnus of Stellenbosch University. You're automatically a member of the convocation. So we really would love it if you would stay engaged with your alma mater, either by giving back some of your time and your talent that you've clearly demonstrated, and share your experiences with students that are still on their journey towards graduation. Ons wil baie graag hê julle moet betrokke wees by en betrokke bly by julle alma mater. Daar is tientalle alumni clubs wêreldwyd. So we have many alumni hubs, either here in South Africa or abroad. And I never fail to be amazed and impressed at the many alumni functions that I attend and all the Marties that I interact there with, how they're so loyal, they're extremely loyal, they're passionate about their experiences, but they're also passionate about giving back to society in a bigger way. So please sign up on martiesconnect.com. That's the site, that's the sort of LinkedIn of Stellenbosch University, martiesconnect.com. You can stay connected to your friends, you can find job postings, mentors, networking opportunities. But really, I want to wish you all the best for your future. It's bright, it's exciting, lots of opportunities. Yes, challenges, but lots and lots of opportunities. But before I sign off, what I want to really emphasize, and I'm sure that our graduates would also like to do, is to congratulate. We already thanked the supervisors, but what about your fan club? What about your supporter base? Wat van julle ondersteuners? Die mense wat dit vir julle moontlik gemaak het om hier te wees. Ouers, familie, kinders, vriende. And I'm sure in many an instance, support probably went hand in hand with all the many years of sacrifice. This journey to a PhD is not a short one. But we trust that the reason for your presence here or online made it all the worthwhile. And I think it'll be very appropriate for you, definitely also for me, to pay tribute to your fan club, to all your supporters. And I would like them to stand up perhaps briefly. Thank you very much. Baie dankie. So dames en here, ons het nou die einde van die verrigtinge bereik en ek verklaar hierdie kongregasie van die Universiteit Stellenbosch as beëindig. Ek versoek u om op te staan en te bly staan totdat die akademiese prosesie die saal verlaat het. We have now come to the end of the proceedings and I hereby declare this meeting of the congregation of Stellenbosch University closed. Would you please rise and remain standing while the academic procession leaves the hall.